Hi, it's Joe Ingram here on the Sales Genius Podcast. Are you struggling to lead your team, close more deals, or get people to actually listen to you? Well, this week on the podcast, I'm going to sit down with Stacey Hanke, Hall of Fame speaker, executive mentor, and best-selling author of Influence Redefined, to uncover the secrets of influencing without authority. We're going to learn how to communicate clearly and persuasively, build trust, accountability in your team, create a personal brand that drives sales and credibility, turn workplace excuses into consistent excellence, align mindset, strategy, and execution to hit your revenue goals. She runs the gamut of everything that has to do with influence, which is something we all need to move forward. So whether you're a sales leader, an entrepreneur, or a professional looking to boost your influence, this episode is packed with actionable strategies that will transform the way you lead, sell, and connect Monday to Monday. So listen now to start influencing, inspiring, and driving results like never before. Let's go ahead and get this show started.
This podcast is for the sales professionals at every level. If you want to convert more prospects into paying customers, then you're in the right place. Because Joe has spent the last 3 decades mastering buying behaviors, personality types, emotional and logical triggers. This is the Sales Genius Podcast. It's only a numbers game if you want educated. It's time to get educated. Let's go! Educated. Wanna learn how to close deals. Wanna learn how to sell more. That's what we're here for at Sales Genius. Let's go!
All right, let's go. That's what the jingle said, right? And you know, it's as always, I am judging the heck out of everybody down below, see if that head's bobbing while we're waiting. So let me bring up Jesse Ramos. He's a guest on the show with us today. He's going to be a guest trainer on the show with us to help me ask the right questions. But our guest trainer, the one who's here, the guest of honor, we're all here to learn from. Stacey, welcome. I'm going to move us around on the screen because I think it'd be much better if you took the big spot over here because we want to learn from you. So thank you so much for coming on. I'm grateful you took the time today.
Of course. And thank you. I mean, I know these are always a big deal, and thanks for trusting me with your followers. Nice intro. And I'm loving the jingle. You get everyone motivated off of that. Nicely done. That's good branding.
Yes, that was, I think it was Joey Mack is the one who did it. And I got connected from a friend. He's like, you know, if you're anybody who's anybody, your podcast has to have the jingle done by him. I was like, I'll call Mr. Mack and see what happens. But it was
it works. I like it. Thanks for the opportunity. I'm ready to just dive in and see how we can help out your followers.
Fantastic. So I want to ask you a couple questions. Again, I try not to make it an interview question, answer. I want you to take over and, you know, share what you can share. But I do want to throw us in a general direction. So your book, Influence Redefined, right, focuses on leading with influence rather than authority. So how can professionals today, right, whether you run your own business, whether you're management in a business, heck, even if you're just a person trying to sell something with someone in a company, you do need that. So how can they apply this approach to drive engagement and productivity with their teams or customers?
Well, I wish it was just as simple as that. And it was, I could just give you one word. I could give you one sentence. So yeah, I think, why don't we just take a step back? When you say Influence Redefined, the title of that book is because I totally redefine influence. There's so much misperception of what influence is. If we don't even know what influence is, you're never going to achieve it anyway. Influence is, this is your first step, making sure that your body language and your messaging, they're consistent Monday to Monday. Monday to Monday means who you are, your influence, your personal brand doesn't take the weekends off. To me, influence is not about what you do some of the time. It's what you do all the time. So that's definition number one. Okay. The second, and this is so about speaking from a sales experience that I do every day to your followers, we all know that influence doesn't happen in one interaction. That's rare. Where suddenly first sales call and they buy your idea, right?
Right.
It's a series of interactions that are consistent over time. So that's step number one, is really just taking that definition and checking in with yourself. Do you show up the same? Whether you're sending off a social media post, a tweet, if anyone still does that, or whatever it is, are you always consistent? And that repetition over time is what people are going to really latch on to. Now, I know any of your followers right now, especially if those that they've been running their own sales for a very long time, might be saying, oh, come on, seriously, that's what she's going to give us? What's common sense is not common practice.
Wow.
And when I see salespeople, and I'm with them as well here on a virtual platform, and then I'll meet them in person, or then I will see them in more of a personal setting, and I'm thinking, all right, how many different personalities are you showing up out there? And I think now more than ever, it's very competitive to influence action because there's so much noise, Jim.
Absolutely.
There's right. I mean, there's so many ways we can connect. We're more connected now than ever before as far as ways we can connect, yet we're more disconnected than ever before. My point being, the way that we have communicated, because I really think influence is created through our communication and how people experience us. The way we did that a year ago, 2 years ago, it doesn't work anymore. Because whoever you're trying to influence and get to buy your concepts, your ideas, your products, they're receiving so many messages. There's so much noise in their world. What are you going to do? How are you going to behave that you can really separate yourself from everyone else? And it's not just your product anymore. It's you come with the product.
Excellent. You know, one of the things I saw that you mentioned that I laughed because I watched you on stage looking at your device, right? And it was an intentional example. I'm like, she's on stage looking at her phone right now. Then you said, no eyes, no talking, right? No eyes, no talking. And I was like, wow. And I just think that alone has to elevate your influence with the person you're dealing with. Right.
Yeah.
Because if they can sit down and do this the whole time that you're talking to them, for one, how much influence do you have? Right.
And there's study after study, Joe, that talks about multitasking, where I'm trying to send off a text message while you're talking to me, or I'm having side conversations over here. When all that is going on, your brain, this is coming out of the University of London, your brain's focus is as if you did not get sleep the night before.
Okay.
That constant back and forth, that multitasking also minimizes our productivity 50%. That's huge. So what Joe's talking about, all of you might know it as eye contact, and we're told, look at people when you talk. I have so elevated that concept, and it's really eye connection. It's only staying connected, whether it's your camera if you're a virtual, or staying connected when you're in person with someone's eyes. You're looking at them when you're talking. Anytime you're talking and you're not looking at them, you start to create the distrust. They start disconnecting with you. You can't read their body language. Now you can't adapt the message on the fly. It is such a common sense concept. But now that we brought it up, Joe, just kind of watch this week. How many times you're in a conversation with someone and they're just having conversations with objects around them versus really connecting to build that consistency of trust.
I love that. And I train to people all the time and explain, you realize that the pathway between the left side and the right side brain for a man and a woman are different.
Yes.
For men, it's a one lane highway. So when I stop to text, I stop everything else. Where when you look, I've seen women that work in a call center that are logging the last call while they've answered the next one. And they're typing something different than what they're saying. And I'm like, how do you do that? Because I'm a guy. Whatever I'm reading, I end up saying out loud. I couldn't read something and say it different. I'm like, that is amazing. But I think you're right. And again, this day and age, anywhere you look around, you see everybody staring at the phone. Right. I think it's so great. Go to a Starbucks because people go out to socialize. No, they don't. They go out to sit where other people are staring at their phones. Right. And that's got to be so frustrating for somebody who wants to build connection and wants to right? At least
Right.
engage with somebody. So I
Yeah,
love it.
it is the only behavior. There's like 10 behaviors that my team and I teach. It is the only behavior, think body language, that communicates trust. It's important because if people don't like you, that's not going to be a determination on will they buy from you, will you influence them. It's if they don't trust and respect you,
Right.
why would I buy from you? Because I don't know what I'm going to get from each interaction to each interaction.
No, I already wrote down and now I'm going to go up on my wall because behind me I have other things that other guests have said, but what's common sense is not common practice.
Yes.
I know it hit Jesse because he actually made noise at that point. He was like,
I heard some noise.
Yeah.
Isn't it true though? Sometimes I'll tell my clients when we're trying to be proactive and get me in front of them to teach their leaders how to elevate their communication. And they're like, well, we really don't need it yet. I'm like, well, that's going to be like you not going to get your teeth cleaned for months, and suddenly you got a toothache, and you should have went how many months ago. Communication is the same concept, but there's this misperception, whether it's in sales, no matter what the industry I'm working with. If my numbers are profitable, I'm good. I've been doing this a long time. I'm a good communicator. The other flaw is a lot of times, how many times have you asked, how did I do? How do you think I did in the pitch? And it's usually followed up with, good, you did great. And it's not feedback.
No.
So we get stuck. We get stuck and we think because I feel good, I'm comfortable, my years of experience, I am a good communicator. That is really when you should start taking a closer look at what your listeners see and hear rather than what you believe they see and hear. There's usually a disconnect between those two.
No, I love that. I've been working with several managers for me, and I talk with them, and they go, "Man, I just did the best training. I just did the best training with my guys." Blah blah blah. And I'm like, "Did you? That's great. Okay, grab one of your guys, bring him up." And I'm like, "Okay, now tell me what he said. Don't tell me what he talked about. Say it as if I'm the customer now." And no one can do it. And I said, you watch somebody who's really good at delivering a pitch, and you're in your head, you watched it and went, yeah, that's great. Oh yeah, I love how you overcame this and you said this and you brought this. I love that, but I can't do it. But I think because I saw it somehow better for it. Yeah. And I'm like, yeah, no, you missed that. Everybody needs to. So let's say we got a sales team, right? And we're struggling to hit targets, right? What are some practical steps a manager can take to realign the team's mindset, accountability, and daily actions?
Yeah, I am a big believer, especially sales. You're the profit center. You're the face of the company. The company, let's say you were Starbucks, Apple, whatever it might be. Those companies have created the personal brand for you. But when it's just you and that client, it's your brand. So to really, I would highly recommend, if it's not already in your organization this way, is you start recording yourself. You start recording your pitches. And all you need to do, if it's virtual, it's so easy because you just take your phone and you set it below your virtual camera. And when you watch it, you pay attention to how you thought you looked and sounded versus what's true. You listen for the words you thought you said, and the structure of that message versus what you actually see in here. Because this is the eyes and ears of your listeners, right? This is the most truthful, honest feedback you'll ever give. And as salespeople, because you're the profit center, even if you're an entrepreneur and it's your business, if you're not watching yourself on a regular basis, how would you possibly know your level of influence? So that would be step number one. Step number two, I would start asking for feedback. Feedback from people you trust in your personal life and your professional life that are going to tell you the truth. You don't need any extra sugarcoating. Now, how I always like to get feedback from my team, say we're partnering up and we're getting on a virtual sales pitch, before the client arrives, I will simply tell my team, here's what I'm working on. Would you watch for that? Or would you listen for that? Mm-hmm. Or here's how I want to make sure I come across. Would you watch for that? Then we have the sales pitch. Client goes away. They complete the call. And I literally have all these Post-it notes right in front of me right now that you can't see. And it's the feedback that I get from my coaches, my team. And we all have 2 minutes in a day to give ourselves some evaluation. And that's really all it takes is your team telling you. And anytime, Joe, someone says to you, that was good. That was really good. If you really want to be able to use it, ask them, what was good? What was it? Something I said or how I came across, my word choice. And that truly is something that my team and I do internally, monthly, weekly. That to me is putting your development, which in this case, your sales, on a very fast track.
I love that.
You just have to be consistent with it, though. Keep practicing like an athlete. How do you think athletes get so good?
Yeah.
It's not because they show up for the game and say, all right, had the week off, I'm ready. I practiced last night. And I hear a lot of my clients, especially those that do sales pitches, they'll put all this time into the messaging, the PowerPoint deck, and they never practice the delivery in their natural, authentic style.
I love that. Yeah, I agree, because you're going to be you. You've said it, right? You are going to be you when it comes to delivering whatever you're going to deliver. And are you the same Monday to Monday? Right.
Yeah.
And so, no, that makes sense. Okay. So what I've got so far is my body language and my messaging has to be the same all the time, Monday to Monday, be you and be that person. Right. I love what's common sense is not common practice. Okay. When it comes to taking the steps, record yourself. Right. And so a lot of times what I'm coaching on is face-to-face as opposed to virtual.
Yeah.
Right. Same thing with Jesse. So, but that's good. But we do, I love phone sales because I look just like Brad Pitt over the phone. So I can totally go with that.
I can see why.
Right. Yeah. And so, but I loved where you were talking about, was it the words I used? Was it like my tonality? Was it, what was it that did it, and dig deeper for the feedback? And
that's right.
Truthfully, I'm going to tell you, most people are too scared to get past the good. You did good. Right. I don't really want to know, but how would I go in and create, because this popped up in every listener's head that's watching this later. Okay. Right. How do I create enough of a drive for someone to want the feedback and to want to dig deeper to get better? Because I think everybody goes to a training just to go to training, right? They're like, yeah, I'll go to it. But
from my experience, because everything that we do, whether we're mentoring, even sometimes in my keynotes, I like live and breathe this, right? Because I know I can talk about body language and people are going to be like, really? Seriously? But when you see it and when you hear it, I just got to get that person that's not motivated or just chooses not to get feedback. Watch yourself once. And I've even said this with people. You owe yourself, right? It's your development. Your name is on everything that you do. It's your personal brand. Watch and listen to yourself just once. Joe, that usually is enough for them to say, okay, I think there's some things I can do here. And keep in mind, you may watch your playback audio or video and say, whoa, I like that. I didn't even know that was me. I didn't know that was part of my personal brand. I think the other thing is those action steps that you were summarizing. It will be easy to say no. It always is.
Right.
But what is the cost to saying no? Well, one of my coaches, I have plenty of them in my life, and it was a coach earlier in my life, and I remember watching myself for the first time. And we sat down after I was being recorded after a presentation that I had done, and we're watching the playback. We're maybe 15 seconds into the playback, Joe, and he looks at me and he says, would you want to sit through that? I remember
15 seconds.
Ouch,
15 seconds.
that was really harsh.
Wow.
But the big takeaway there was, I remember thinking, everyone says I'm good, I feel good, I'm really good.
Right.
Until I saw it and I realized there really is a disconnect. And still to this day, there's times I watch my playbacks and I'm thinking, whoa, where did I pick up that bad habit? Or wait, I thought I said this and that was not what I said. it made me realize early in my career that how I feel has nothing to do with truly how people see initially. Now, here's the other benefit. You start getting that feedback, you start watching yourself, listening to playbacks on a continuous basis. Suddenly, when you're in that high stakes situation, or it doesn't even have to be high stakes, you've seen yourself so many times that in the moment, you're coaching yourself, you're correcting yourself to make sure that you're not creating distractions for your listeners. It makes them feel like here's someone that gets what I need. They are making it all about me. Their message is so adaptable to what I need. That to me is communicating with empathy, which I don't think a lot of people are doing.
Agreed.
But without watching yourself, you just don't know that.
No, I love that idea. I mean, I think truly sitting down and when you do a group training or you do anything else, right? If everybody could watch how they looked disinterested or how when it was their turn, because I think what's funny is the only way to get better, everybody says, I'm just going to wing it, right? So in the sales world, the answer is I'm good enough. I can just wing it, right? And I know Jesse and I hear this from teams all day long. Dude, I got this. I got this. I got this. Then they walk out and say something. You're like, where did you come up with that? That's so wrong. That is nothing like anything we practiced with. But to sit back and look at somebody who's saying, oh, I got it. I got it. Role play is the safest and easiest way, right, for someone to actually do it. And they don't want to do it. And I think what you brought up is let them present to somebody, right? And it's recorded, which means that they can now take it back and almost feedback coach themselves by watching it going, yeah, that didn't hit right. That didn't land anywhere it was. Why am I laughing and not? Because I'm going to give you credit. Everything I looked up online, every audience is laughing with you, right? And I am the guy who is the edutainment person. So a friend of mine said, dude, you're the personification of edutainment. I said, dude, thank you so much, but I don't know what that means, right? And he's like, you educate while entertaining, but education comes first. And I was like, okay, great. And again, every one of your talks, you have everybody laughing, you have them engaged. And I think that helps for them to absorb the information as opposed to the droning on. Yeah.
And Joe, let's just face it. Communication skills, influence, come on. Who needs that? And I know that's how so many of my people think because feedback has been flawed for a long time. They don't realize how communication is the core to everything that they do. And we don't practice it. We don't think about it. I know I need to bring laughter in it. I know I need to have some fun with that topic for people to realize, whoa, maybe I should take a look. I want to dive into something that you said about we don't like to role play. Something that has helped me over the years is I don't just practice my communication when I'm on like virtual calls or I'm on a stage. To me, at that point, this is not the time I should be practicing.
That's showtime.
Right? I am doing it when I'm with family, when I'm with friends. Now, initially, early in my career, I was like really thinking about it and I had my family coach me. Now, I am who I am. I communicate the way I do, that it's happening. My practice time is in my personal life more than it is here. For sales, it's the same thing. We're always selling something to our family, to our friends in some shape or form. We're all influencing that. I don't want to make it difficult for your followers. Think of it as every interaction you have is an opportunity for you to practice how you show up, how people experience you, and what message you leave with them. Every interaction you can be practicing. So that's great news.
Yeah, absolutely.
You don't have to put time on your calendar when you might be already living a really busy life.
Okay, so
take advantage of every interaction.
I love that. I want to play something because I see things that, of course, can be the same between you and me. Right? It's my show. I can pick on you, but I want to get your feedback on it in the way that. So for me, I say, you know what? Every personality study that goes out there, right, goes back and forth. The government spent $1 million back in 2019 to go come back and tell us there's still 4 personality types, right? They're like, there's 4 personality types. You do share all of them, but you're going to find yourself in a majority of, one. And so that somebody can label you as whatever they want to call you, depending on the name of the study, right? And so with that, what I find funny is that people that always tell you how great they are in sales, when you check their sales statistics, they brag about a 20 to 25% closing percentage. So if 4 or 5 people get in front of me, I close 1 deal. Okay. And I look and I go, but isn't that just you selling to the one personality type that matched yours? Right. And I teach more of adapt to the people that are there, pull that different part of yourself out to match their personality type. And where you're saying you're you all the time. So I want to get your take on it, because I don't think you're saying if you're an ass, be an ass all the time. Right. That's
right. Yeah. So let me clarify. I'm going to use the analogy of, think of a professional golfer, tennis. You could use any sport. However that tennis player practices is how they're going to perform at the big game.
Right.
For us, every day is game day, right?
Yeah.
We get to practice all this time, and then
Monday to Monday. Yes.
Right. Monday to Monday. So there are numerous core skills that I teach. One in particular is brevity. Get to the point. Avoid all those extra words. The other one is eye connection. Those are core skills. When I am on my weekends with my family and friends, my evenings, I'm not having a conversation with them and just letting my eyes dart all over the place and stumbling, over my words. Because if I do that, how will I authentically practice brevity? How will I authentically build trust from my eye connection when the stakes are high, which means I'm talking to my clients? So I teach the core skills, and I tell people, if you want brevity, you need to have brevity all the time.
Okay.
You can't be long-winded in your personal life and not in a sales pitch. It will not work. Now, when it comes to the variety of conversations your followers are having, you obviously are adapting your style. For example, Joe, when you first got on, if you want a small talk, I'm going to small talk. But if Jess gets on, he's like, right to work, then I'll get right to work with him. Okay. You got to read the room.
Yes.
And I know sales professionals know this. With sales professionals I work with, though, sometimes I'll sit in and I'll watch one of their sales pitches. And I'm like, you kind of forgot to read the room. You did all the talking. They should talk 80%. You take 20% of it. And then they're just going to feed you all the information anyway. That's what I mean by being consistent. Or sometimes I'll see my client show up very professional here and very stoic. And then I'll meet them at the event site. And they're totally gregarious and funny. And I'm like, okay, which one am I talking to?
Right. Which one of you is it? That other multiple personality thing you were talking about. Yes.
Yeah. And we see that a lot. I think virtually, especially, we've gotten sloppy. And to me, I'm like, there's no more excuses. We've been in this space for way too long.
Yeah.
You should be showing up the best way that you possibly can show up. And that goes for in person, though, too.
Fantastic. Okay, I have occupied your time. I'm grateful for everything you shared. Again, body language matches the message, right? All the time. I just love your Monday to Monday. I'm sure I'm going to steal that from this point going forward. But as Jesse will agree, what's common sense is not common practice, right? So record yourself, right? How do you know you're influencing? And if you're not recording and watching yourself, you don't know if you're influencing, because a lot of times salespeople are just talking. And they believe that's them influencing, right? You need to be reviewing weekly for your feedback as a team. So it needs to be, let's talk about it. Let's practice something, and then let's all talk about it. Is it the words? Is it tonality? I need true feedback, not just good job, let's move on. Okay. And then I love the brevity part. Get to the point, right? That's why I come back to my little list at the end.
I love it.
Say, this is what we're dealing with to go through this one. And again, be consistent. The consistency is your brand, whether you want it to be or not. It
really is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I love that. So Stacey Hanke, Inc.com. It's been scrolling on the bottom of the screen. Is that the best place for people to head up, look and see? Because I know there's going to be people with companies, there's going to be people with organizations that say we need her to come out and teach our people these skills that only work everywhere, right?
Yeah.
So,
and there's tons of resources, you know, even if I can be help from afar, Joe, there's a lot of complimentary video blogs and research paper. There's a lot out there for them to grab whatever they need to grab.
There's free downloads on her site, people.
Yeah.
Don't bug her until you've gone through all of it. So, and are you okay if I introduce you to other show hosts?
Please do. Yeah. Thank you so much, Joe. Thanks, Jess.
Absolutely. Jesse, you got questions? Anything? Because you know me, I just dominate the conversation. That's why I created the show.
Hi, Stacey. Thank you, Joe. Just a real quick question. Especially, I've been dealing with some with this a little bit more than often with people that are a little bit sensitive or they don't want to do a certain thing, especially the recording part. What would be your approach? How can you do that with that kind of people that are maybe embarrassed or shy, or they don't want to get put on the spot?
I think it's how you definitely frame it. If it's someone that reports to you, you be the role model, right? And you start recording yourself and they see that you're recording yourself and it just becomes a requirement. You know, I think as a leader, you really need to be clear on what's the benefit. Why are you asking them to record themselves? Well, everything that we just talked about here. Right. And does it get easier to watch your playback? No, I hate watching myself on a playback. I even have a hard time watching myself here. But what I do know that as much as it's uncomfortable, the benefit of watching myself and constantly development is worth the discomfort. So I don't want to lie and say the recording gets easier, Jesse. You just get better. So if your team's willing and they want to get better, this is going to be the fast track.
I like it. So she's saying if you bitch out, then that's what she's telling you. You're not getting better. That's what she's saying. That's there. Right. That's how I'd frame it in the meeting.
Right. I appreciate the clarification.
Yeah, I threw the brevity right back into it right now. Right. Go, look, smack.
To the point.
Right? Yeah. If you don't like it. Okay. Question completely off topic. We can consider this. Oh, it's over. But so where is your camera? Are you making an effort to look directly at the camera while you talk as opposed to the screen?
Yeah. Okay. It's right in front of me. So I have a stand-up desk and I will move it wherever my eyes are to make it easier. You'll notice you can see a lot of me. And that just makes it so much easier for me to gesture so you can see what I'm doing. I also have my laptop. It's sitting on top of, I don't know, maybe 8 books. So I really put thought into how can I make this easier so that you feel like I am looking right at you no matter where you are on my screen. Because watch the difference. If I'm looking down at you on my right-hand side and Jesse, he's up on my left, and I got someone up here, I think, well, hey, I'm connecting with all of you, but I've got to keep on remembering I'm not connecting with anyone.
Right.
I also am not too close to the camera, so it gives me a little bit more wide angle view that I can see both of you off to my right-hand side.
I like it. No, I like it. So I actually bought a camera during COVID. So my camera is right here next to your head.
Okay.
So as I look at you, I'm literally looking at you. So my camera hangs down off because I have a TV in front of me, not a monitor. And so it hangs down in the front. It's called a center cam. But it's one of those things that I'm like, I have to do this. I have to do this because I just did a sales call with another organization the other day that wants to sell me things. Right. And the guy was talking and I was over here and he's talking to me over here the whole time he's doing it. I was like, I can tell you right now, I don't want whatever you're selling because you don't even know to look at me. And you're going, yeah, well, our organization, we do this. And I'm like, how am I over there if your camera's over here?
It's crazy. I had one of my clients she was always behind the scenes. She wasn't at the event site that I was at, but the entire time I had a side view. I never even saw her eyes, never saw them.
It's horrible.
And that's what I mean, like feedback. No one's told her yet.
Right.
5 years later. Yeah.
Yeah. I told him when I got off the call.
Did
When he
you?
was done, and he was like, so you want, I said, I don't want to move forward. And I'll just tell you right now, the me staring at your ear, right, and the side of your head, it really breaks out any chance of connection whatsoever. And he's like, really? And I'm
you know what? He will.
You the whole time like this, every time you said something,
Yes.
he was like, he goes, oh, that makes sense. I go, but you're looking directly at me the whole time, and you are making contact with me, because even on my work computer and my laptops, I have these little cameras that hang down so I can position them, and I move the screen around so that the head is there. Like, I'm not looking at Jesse, but I can go back ahead and I can look at Jesse and come back. But
yeah, you did him the biggest favor ever. I'll guarantee you he has made that change because you said something.
Yeah, I agree.
Feedback sometimes is a gift we don't want to receive, but you get it anyway. And you still get to choose, right? You get to choose what you want to do with it, but what you don't. But I've learned over my career, the harsher feedback I've gotten just from random participants in my audiences was the best feedback that I got.
Right, because they have no reason to hold back.
No, they don't.
And it ain't always great to hear, but yes.
It isn't. No, it's not.
Perfect. I want to say thank you, Stacey. You've dumped a lot on us, and there's a lot to take away from this. And we've only scratched the surface of what Stacey can bring to your organization and your teams. So I'd say reach out to her and go dig deep through the website, because there's a lot of stuff on there for you to look at. So thank you very much, Stacey. Thank you, Jesse, for joining us. Right. And I'll tell everybody right now, go out and sell something. So thanks, everybody.
Let's talk about sales, baby. Let's talk about you and me. Let's talk about all the good things and the challenges that may be. Let's talk about sales. A little bit.
Ooh.